possible, please take your seats. The program will be underway in a moment, but take your seats, please. Welcome. How about giving it up for Deacon John? Welcome to the first annual Global Means Business Day. That's during the IAVM Regional Conference. Continue your meal. Deacon's going to entertain us during your meal. But as we get to that point, we're here because it's Meetings Being Business Day globally. All over the world, people are celebrating Meetings Being Business Day. And it's because in New Orleans, it means 86,000 jobs. And it's the number one industry in New Orleans. So enjoy your meal as you are entertained by Deacon John. But we want to recognize our sponsors, the New Orleans Convention and Visitors Bureau, the New Orleans Convention Center, Cineplate, and MPI Gulf States Chapter. And then our table sponsors, Manning Architects, Freeman, Greater New Orleans Hotel Lodging Association, Host Global, Freeman, and United Security. Enjoy your meal. We'll be back with you after the entertainment. Thank you.
Ooh, ooh. Hold me close and hold me fast. The magic spell you cast. This is La Vie en Rose. When you kiss me, heaven sighs. And though I close my eyes, I see La Vie en Rose. When you press me to your heart, and in a world apart, a world where roses bloom. And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday word seems to turn into a love song. Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be La Vie en Rose. Good evening, everybody. How do all these people get in my room, eating up all my food, drinking all my liquor? I've got you under my skin. I have got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I've tried so hard not to give in. And I said to myself, this affair, it never will go so well. But why should I try to resist when baby I know so well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near in spite of a warning sign. that comes in the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you never can win. Use your mentality. Wake up to reality. And each time that I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. 'Cause I've got you under my skin. Hey! Run for cover! Running high! I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning sign that comes in the night and repeats how it yells in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you ain't never gonna win. Why not use your mentality? Wake up, step up to reality. Just before I begin, 'cause I've got you under my skin. Yeah, you got me under my skin. Hey! Right about now, it's time for our memory spotlight song. The year is 1957. Oh, raise your hand if you remember that. Young man started his musical career in a film called Lizzie. He was a lounge piano player, and after this song, he never looked back. Though we try to be masters of our souls and captains of our fate, it's the lucky ones who achieve their goals, while others have to wait. Our destiny is mostly bought and paid for us. The really big decisions are made for us. Though it's not for me to say, you love me. It's not for me to say, you'll always care. Oh, but here for the moment I can hold you fast and press your lips to mine and dream that love will last. As far as I can see, this is heaven. And speaking just for me, it's ours to share. Perhaps the glow of love will grow with every passing day, or we may never meet again, and speaking just for me. It's ours to share. Perhaps the glow of love will grow with every passing day. Oh, we may never meet again, but then it's not for me to say. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President and CEO of the New Orleans Convention and Visitors Bureau, Stephen Perry.
If you grew up anywhere near New Orleans and you don't know that voice, I tell you what, you've been living under a rock. Thank you so much, Deacon. Appreciate it, man. So why are we here today? You know, we're here, and I know it seems like our industry is always creating things to talk about. Well, that's kind of true. But meetings being business is something that really matters. A number of years ago, I think a lot of you remember, we had a little incident in the national press regarding some United States government and other folks traveling to Las Vegas. It created a lot of backlash on Capitol Hill, reactions from the White House, and unfortunate in the way that it came out, and it made people question the value of meetings. Well, one of the things, a group of us, at that point I was in the executive committee of the United States Travel Association, and we decided, a group of us, to create MMB. And Meetings Mean Business was about how we were going to begin to articulate through spokespersons on Bloomberg and CNBC and MSNBC and Fox and every network that we could, at every opportunity that we could, to talk about the importance and the value of meetings. Look, the meetings business is a $170 billion business in America and one of the most important parts of this nearly $1 trillion United States hospitality and tourism industry. But the value of it goes so much to the core of what we are here in New Orleans. You know, here we are, a city of 375,000 people, and without any question, one of the top 5 or 6 convention destinations in North America. And it allowed us to take a leisure brand and put the meeting side of it together in a way that created tens of thousands of jobs, opportunities for companies. And folks, you guys know that from a value basis, there is nothing more important than the meeting side of the equation, meetings and conventions in our larger hospitality world. So this is an opportunity for us. We always celebrate, you know, National Travel and Tourism Day. In May, we try to always bring light and attention onto what it is that we do. But this is a new thing that we're starting, in addition to our normal grassroots efforts and that of a lot of us across destination marketing and private corporation world, to celebrate something that I think for one of us in this room is just so intuitive and just a part of his life, and we're honored to have him here today. You know, when you think about real giants in our industry, there are a handful of people that come to mind. Well, one of the people that pops up in that first list of 5 is a man named Don Freeman. The company that he created and the quality of the work that they've done is really a reflection of the kind of person that Don is. You know, Don is and I think a lot of us, when we think about him, he's a human being of absolute impeccable character. I mean, he is one of the most decent, honest, good people I think any of us have ever known in our lives. And you can see it in his company. And you can see it with his daughter and with Joe and the way that they work. I was fortunate enough, Don doesn't know this, but when we were talking about a number of years back about a new slate of nominees for our Hall of Distinction and the Hall of Fame, he doesn't know that I was the one that nominated him at U.S. Travel. And it was an honor, and as soon as I mentioned it in the room, everyone went, "Oh my God, of course, Don Freeman, he is the one." I've never been around anybody that when you talk about him, you talk about his legacy and what his company has done, it has an impact that it brings a smile to everyone's face. He's set amazing standards, and we shouldn't be surprised. You know, a lot of you probably don't know he's an Annapolis grad. He's a person that's had, I just found out that he played a trombone in high school, but he's not ready to sit in with Deacon John yet, though. But anyway, we are honored today as we celebrate and honor the meetings industry and what it means Let me tell you what, you think about these musicians, it's not just meetings means business. Meetings means musicians. It means chefs. It means florists. It means retailers. It means everything. Meetings means the world here. And to have one of the greatest icons in our industry come and talk to us today and spend this particular day with us, we can't thank him enough. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Don Freeman.
Actually, I think that was a little over the top. Thank you, Stephen. I very much appreciate your comments, and especially about our company and the quality of work that our folks do. It's such a pleasure to be here in New Orleans. I always enjoy coming back here. We had an opportunity to enjoy some of the New Orleans cuisine last night and listening to the music today. It's just such a treat to be here. Bob Johnson mentioned about what kind of instrument I'd like to play, and I said, well, bagpipes come to mind, but I couldn't get those in my, but I did play the trombone, and I always say it's because in the marching band, the trombone players are the first row behind the cheerleaders, and that's not a bad place to be, I can tell you. We're here, and as Stephen so aptly said, you know, it's so important that we promote the value of meetings. And I was referring also to a few years ago when we were advised not to take junkets to Las Vegas. And I think we're probably faced with just as much of a task today as we were then because of the issues that are taking place in the world. And I'm going to refer to some of them. I hope when reviewing my remarks, I hope I don't sound too negative because there is such a great future for meetings business. And I think we're very fortunate to be in this industry. I would also issue maybe a little bit of an apology. My background is more experience in the exhibition side of business, and I hope I don't show too much favoritism to the exhibitions, but I do note that the campaign is to showcase the value of meetings business, trade shows, incentive travel, exhibitions, conferences, and conventions. So I think we're all on the same page with regard to that. I do think that it's a little bit like kind of the phrase of preaching to the choir, because pretty much everybody here is in the meetings business. But it is so important that we talk about the value of meetings and what they will mean to our economy going forward. Meetings, I think, are going to continue to be strong, but we're going to have to adjust to the conditions and what everybody is looking for today. If I can get there. We all are looking for an experience. Experiential marketing is the key to the meetings business. And we have created an experience here today with the music and some of the promotions that you will see later in the program. To be successful, I think we all have to, and we've always kind of done that to a certain extent in the convention and meetings business. For some time, conventions that moved around the country, they would have a theme. If they were in New Orleans, they would have a Mardi Gras theme, or San Francisco, a Golden Gate Bridge theme on their literature. But today, we have to be far more experiential in that way. And I think that's what we're all focusing on. One of the ways that we can create experiences is with digital products. Social media is one that comes to mind most prevalent in the meetings today. And I think, at first, I think when social media came out, a lot of people felt this was going to be competitive, that people can talk back and forth on their smartphones and not have to go to meetings. But actually, social media has been one of the main factors in create an experience in meetings. We are looking forward to more and more of the social media creating those experiences. I read an article in the Wall Street Journal here a couple weeks ago about how an attendee was using their smartphone and using social media to create their own sort of little mini meetings, booking a restaurant table and then inviting people to come and talk about a certain topic. So it's very much in use through all of the meetings that we're using today, pre-promotion of the meetings, post recap of the meetings, and certainly meeting planners are incorporating enhancement of social media in their meetings with Twitter boards and so forth. Another technology that we're seeing quite a bit of is second screen technology. This is where an attendee can take their smartphone and log on to a website, and they can interact with the speaker. They can text messages or questions to the speaker. It makes it a little easier if people are reluctant to come forward with a question. Taking polls, what do you all think about this kind of thing? Doing it live time. So second screen technology is going to be a very important part of technology going forward. And of course, virtual reality is getting a lot of publicity these days, and it's not necessarily a new technology, but the enhancements and the development of the technology is really coming on strong. We see it in, of course, a lot of people with their video games and so forth. Excuse me. Again, it could be somewhat of a threat going to live meetings if you can put on the headset and the earphones and experience it. Although we're seeing more and more people at trade shows using virtual reality. Not real good for drage contractors if you can show a virtual machine as opposed to moving that big machine into the exhibit floor. But it's certainly going to be a coming trend in our industry. Another big factor in meetings today is big data. I think people are sort of overwhelmed with the data that's being accumulated, and I know sometimes people, at least I do, feel kind of scary. How did they know that, or how did they know what was going on? And it is somewhat of a concern because of the privacy issues, but I think more with what do you do with this data? I had lunch with a couple of convention managers here a few weeks ago, two of the largest shows in the country, and I asked about data, and they really just sort of rolled their eyes and said, I got all this stuff and all this information, but I really don't know what to do with it. So I was at the Society of Independent Show Organizers meeting last week, CEO participants there, and Denzel Rankin, who has a company called MR International, and made a presentation, and he kind of broke it down pretty simply, saying, you know, first of all, you have to have a strategy, and his emphasis was that strategy needs to come from the top. And then based on that strategy, you determine, well, what data do you need? And then when you get the data, they, of course, do the analysis and the analytics. So big data is going to be a big factor in meetings going forward, but it's the use of the data that's going to be so important. I had another thought about when I was at the conference last week, the CISO conference, just how complex meetings are today, which is kind of like society. The customization is just a major consideration. Talking earlier today about NADA and their convention, and conversation with Stephen Pitt, the convention manager, about how almost 25% of the audience had special meals ordered at some of their banquets. If you go to a Starbucks, and I'm always amazed, I always just get a plain dark roast coffee. That's my, but people come in and they're asking for double shots of this and that and this and that. And now, of course, you can order on your smartphone, so it's there when you come in. But when you think about the complexity of that, just that process, and what it takes in terms of a supply chain, the software, the training of people is necessary to deliver that customization. Event rules are another big factor that we need to be concerned about. I don't know if you saw, I was at a PCMA publication a couple of weeks ago about South by Southwest, and I think you're probably all familiar with that convention. It's in Austin every year. And remember the fact that it initially was an entertainment, bands and vocal groups and so forth. Then it developed into film and now technology. But it surfaced that in their contract for the acts that were coming in, indicated that they need to conform to the rules and of conformance with the contract. But one of the clauses in there was that one of the remedies that we have is to notify appropriate U.S. immigration authorities. Well, you can imagine today with acts coming in from all over the world, how that reacted to them. So, you know, apparently a phrase, a clause in a contract that had been there for years, all of a sudden seems to be something that you really need to focus on. Another example, of course, is the social issues like the bathroom bill that's gotten so much publicity recently, and how that is affecting meetings and how devastating it was to North Carolina. It's interesting to note that when the law was changed, big headlines, well, bathroom bill was overturned or defeated or whatever. But when the NCAA made their statement, their phraseology was, we reluctantly are agreeing to start booking events back in North Carolina. And the reason is that apparently there's still some technicalities in the bill. The only reason I bring it up is just, again, the tremendous complexity of meetings today and what meeting planners are faced with. Again, one of the big things that's getting so much publicity today is the travel restrictions. Last week, USA Today in their newspaper, in the front page article, indicated there were going to be 10 million less international visitors in the next 2 years, based on 77 million international visitors in 2015. Another restriction that seems to be coming, and it's been in the paper recently, is a restriction on devices. So I think that all of these factors can certainly have a negative effect on meetings going forward. And one of the main reasons, I think, why we, as Stephen said earlier today, to overcome objections or concerns that can be devastating to the meetings industry. Another concern that I have is the discussion on the federal budget. I was a member of the Department of Commerce Travel and Tourism Advisory Committee for a couple of years, 2014 and 15. And I wanted to be on the committee because so many of our exhibition customers were complaining about the difficulty they were having in getting visitors and exhibitors getting their visas. And I saw that 2-year period, the State Department making a tremendous improvement on the processing time for visas. Brazil, for instance, was almost 60-day process for getting a visa, and that was reduced to, I think, around 4 or 5 days. But obviously, the State Department beefed up their processing and their procedures. And I have a concern about in the federal budget, although when they talk about the State Department, it seems to be foreign aid that is the largest target there. But it's something to keep an eye on. That, along with the security issues that are coming online, the travel bans are now talking about more extreme vetting of visas. And the phraseology I read yesterday was wanting to make sure that people who are coming to the U.S. were coming for legitimate reasons. And of course, that kind of is a pretty open description of why you would want to come to the U.S., a legitimate reason. I certainly think meetings and exhibitions are, but it is a concern going forward. Added to the complexity is a new organization that is being formed. It's a program sponsored by the Department of Homeland Security, the Exhibition Services and Contractors Association, the International Association of Exhibitions and Events, and the International Association of Venue Management. It's called the Exhibitions and Meetings Safety and Security Initiative, or EMSI. What we're trying to do as an industry is to get ahead of restrictions or policies that may make it more difficult to conduct meetings and exhibitions. We think, at least on the service contractor side of things, one thing that comes to mind is screening of freight and crates, for instance, and how difficult that might be, not only costly but time-consuming with the very tight move-in and move-out schedules that we have. So it's something that I'm sure you're going to hear more about. We've got the organizations that are involved in that are meeting frequently and trying to come up with some policy and guidelines that will be that the exhibition industries can live with. One of the things that I've kind of been on for several years is, particularly in talking about the overall economy and the slowness with which the economy has come back from the recession in 2008. And it's always been my feeling that it's really regulations, particularly how they affect small business, that have been a detriment to the improvement of our economy. And some of them, I think, are particularly burdensome to the meetings industry. And I think about the Affordable Care Act and then the rise in the minimum pay for exempt and non-exempt employees. As a company, we have spent, it's not so much the extra tax, the extra cost, the extra benefits, it's the administration of those regulations that have been so burdensome. And hopefully, I know somewhat of the executive decisions that have been made recently are controversial, but hopefully it will reduce the amount of regulation, because I think particularly these regulations on part-time employees affect the meeting business. So those are kind of some thoughts about, hopefully not too negative, because as I said from the very beginning, meetings are really a primary driver. I read here recently the Bureau of Labor Statistics estimate the event business will likely grow 44% in the future. The Center for Exhibition Industry Research that measures the size of, indexes the size of exhibitions, has been outpacing the consumer index for several years. Unemployment is down to like 4.7%. So there's a lot of positives out there, and we certainly are grateful for that. But it is based upon comments today, and it's so important that we as a team get together and promote industry, the value that they have, and the jobs that they create, and the economy, the strength of the economy we have. So with those remarks, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Love always coming to New Orleans, I mentioned, and I appreciate very much your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Great words of wisdom, as you always impart. I'd like to call up on stage my counterpart, the CVB, Kara Banish. And as I do, if we could ask Deacon John to start making his way back to the stage. And Kara, if you don't mind me, I'd like for the, if the dictionary had meetings being business in the dictionary, probably the picture of the CVB staff and the Convention Center staff would be in that dictionary. So I'd like for the Convention Center staff and the CVB staff to stand, and let's recognize the work that they do.
Thank you. Well, these things can't happen alone, and I want to take just one more opportunity to thank IAVM for letting us hijack their luncheon today. We have a great, strong community here, but we were excited that we had the opportunity while you were meeting with us to have you join this great celebration. So thank you for that, but also to MPAI Gulf States chapter, who's celebrating with us here today. And, you know, my team I'm super proud of. I'm unapologetic about the fact that every day, all day is meetings mean business, and that we're so passionate about bringing that business here to New Orleans. But I want to really call out and thank the Ernest and Morial Convention Center, Mr. Bob Johnson and Tim Hemphill and the team here at the Convention Center for welcoming us here today, as well as the team at Centerplate, who we sometimes feel is just an extension of our own. So thank you to all of you for welcoming us with you. So we're going to have a little bit of fun, and I'm unapologetic about the fact that this is about sales, right? So it's great to throw a party for ourselves, but we need photographic evidence of this, because, you know, some of the name of the game is about getting that exposure in trade publications, and, you know, certainly being able to demonstrate to legislators and other individuals how important the meetings industry is. So I'd like to invite Mr. Perry and Mr. Johnson back up on stage and to join us for this. And now this is where the audience participation begins. You all were given one of these paddles on your seat when you came in, and I'm going to ask you to find that if you're not sitting on it, or if you didn't put it underneath the table. And we have a photographer staged at the back of the room who is going to get a great shot of us all. I think Bob and Stephen are nervous about coming back up here, right? No, there's no indignity in this, I promise. You know, those of us in sales live a life of, you know, humiliation, so we are not uncomfortable with that, but I know in boardrooms it's a different story. All right, so these gentlemen are up here on stage with us, and in a moment, Deacon John is going to come back up here and begin to play. And so part of the fun here in New Orleans is that we love to celebrate, but we also love a second line. And so before we do that, and we encourage you all to join the second line and to use your signs, because we're going to get some great pictures of that. We are so proud to be a part of a great, strong industry, an industry that is moving forward, an industry that's changing, an industry that employs so many people from different backgrounds and contributes so much to the economy. But we're also proud that our industry is an industry that contributes culturally to the communities that we live in. Deacon John, an extraordinary individual, is part of a group here in New Orleans. The Louis Armstrong Jazz Camp is an entity that has been in operation for over 23 years. Each summer, they invite 80 to 100 kids to come and participate in an 8-week curriculum that focuses on brass, winds, strings, as well as percussion. And some of our greatest local acts, Trombone Shorty and the Batistes, all came out of that program. Last year, Deacon John was an honoree for his individual contributions to that organization. And so the CVB is going to kick things off with a $2,500 donation to the Louis Armstrong Jazz Camp for Kids. And I'm always super competitive. I egged Tim on and convinced him, I don't know if Bob knows this, but he's going to give $2,500 as well. And then I wasn't actually expecting a phone call on stage. I wouldn't have taken the call, but who in the room has one of these in their pocket or in their bag? If you can pull it out and get ready. Before we second line, if any of you would like to contribute and ensure the future of a cultural economy here and the musicians like Deacon John and many others who make every festival, every celebration, coffee on a Saturday morning, dinner on a Sunday night, what it is here in New Orleans with our music. We're going to have a fun participation here. You can text and contribute. So this is easy. It's only five characters, and I actually had to try it myself because I was a little worried that I couldn't pull it off, but 91999. 91999. Who can say that, right? So you're going to text 91999 should you wish to make a contribution. And all you need to do in your subject line is put the words jazz, space, whatever your donation amount might be, should you choose, and then your name. And you can put your first name and your second name, or either or. And you'll get a link that you can fill in your information and make that contribution should you choose. But we are so very proud to contribute to the economy here, and with that, we invite Deacon John back up to kickstart our second line. And who would like to begin, Tim or Stephen? Oh, Tim would like to get a picture on stage before we second line, so we can do that too.
So obviously we didn't rehearse this very well, but we have a photographer. He's making his way back to the ladder because we didn't quite, and we're going to ask everybody to kind of turn and hold up their paddle to that ladder back there, and we're going to get a group picture. Well, I'm going to come on stage. Move a little bit. And so Patrick, give us the high sign when you're ready. You want to turn and face the camera. See the ladder over there. Larry, do you know what face? Okay, so let's make these check presentations further. But if Nina Simons would come up to the stage right quick. Please welcome Nina Simons. She's the director for Region 5 IAVM, and who's let us kind of glom onto their meeting. And in addition to what Kara mentioned, the $2,500 check from the CVB, the sponsors allowed us to match that, meaning that the convention center didn't actually match it, but all you people did. And so this is the match to the $2,500. and Nina. And then, but since we're with IAVM today, who does a wonderful job in continuing the professionalism of our industry, proceeds from this lunch go to the IAVM Region Conference Treasury to help them continue their efforts. So on behalf of Meetings Mean Business, the New Orleans Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Center, and Center Plate, Nina, here's a check for $303. So, okay, so. And Bob and Steve are now, the next number is, oh, you aren't? Yeah, we're done. Okay, Deacon John.
What's in your wallet? Money, money, money. That's what we're here for. Well, anyway, what we're really here for is to ask you to support the Satchmo Summer Jazz Camp because, you know, if we don't have these young lions coming up to learn the indigenous culture and the music that New Orleans is famous for, nobody's going to want to come back to this town. Because the two things that make New Orleans great, the food and the music. And we have to perpetuate the indigenous culture by making allowances for the young people coming up to learn how to play the special music that comes from New Orleans and came mainly from our hero, Louis Satchmo Armstrong. I know how important this is to me because I am the president of the New Orleans Musicians Union, and we give money every year to the Satchmo Summer Jazz Camp, and last year, the Satchmo Summer Jazz Camp gave me the prestigious Jazz Pioneer Award at a special ceremony. Anyway, I'm just really proud of this organization because I believe the children are our future. And with that, we'd like you to text the pledge of any amount. Open your hearts and open your pocketbooks. If you want to compose a new text message, it's 91999. Type your message, jazz, your amount, and your name. Example would be Jazz 500 John Doe. That's $500 now. Hit send and click on the link to complete your donation. The text number is 91999. And your message is jazz, followed by your generous donation. It's tax deductible, and they will send you back a form to enter your credit card and address for your receipt. And now, I'm going to tell you how much I love you. How much do I love you? I'll tell you no lie. How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? How many times a day do I think of you? flowers sprinkled with dew. How far would I travel to be where you are? How long is the journey from here to a star? And if I ever lost you, how much would I cry? How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? And if I ever lost you, how much would I cry? How deep is the ocean? How high is And now we'd like to have a word from our sponsor, Walmart. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for this wonderful band up here? On the bass, my brother Charles Moore. And on the piano, Bobby Diamond. On the drummer, Tommy Robinson. And on the saxophone and the flute, Joe Salisbury. He used to be with Irma Thomas, but he's with me now. And on the trumpet, hey, what your name is? Arturo Ohashi on the trumpet, and on the trombone, our arranger, Darryl Jacob. All right. the best things in life, they're free. Stars belong to everyone that could ever be you and for me. Flowers in spring, the robin that sing, the sunbeams and shine down are yours and divine yours. Love can come to everyone, best things in life, they're free. All of the good things, every one of the better things, best things in life, they are free. Hey, and a hoo, and a ha. Thank you. Just a little philosophy now. 101. Once I lived the life of a millionaire, spending my money, honey, I didn't care. Was taking my friends out for a mighty good time. And oh, I drank that good gin, champagne and wine. Oh, but just as soon as my money got low, I couldn't find no friends and I had no place to go. But if I ever get my hands on a dollar again, I'm gonna hold on till that eagle grins. 'Cause I found out that nobody wants you. Nobody wants you when they find out that you're down and out. What in your pocket? There's not one penny. And all them good friends you haven't got any. But oh, just let you get up on your feet again and here they all come telling you they're your long lost friends. But this I want to tell you, and about it I have no doubt that nobody wants you. No, nobody needs you. No, no, no. Nobody wants you when you're down and out. And oh, I gotta say it for me this time. No, no. Nobody wants you, no, no, no. Nobody wants you when you find out that you're down and out. What in your pocket? There's not one penny. And all them good friends you thought you haven't got any. But oh, but just let you get up on your feet again. And here they all come telling you they're your long lost friend. But this I want to tell you, and about it, I got no doubt that nobody wants you. Ha! No, nobody needs you. No, no, no. Nobody wants you when you're down and out. Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, text a pledge of any amount. What's in your wallet? We take plastic too. Just remember the destructions. Compose a new text message to 91999. Type in your message. I want to send $1 million. Type in jazz and leave a space and put your amount of your generous donation followed by your name. For example, jazz, 2 million, John Doe. Hit send and click on the link to complete your transaction. It's so simple. Technology is amazing. We can take your money painlessly.
Deacon John, we have time for one more song to play us out. But before we do, please help me thank our sponsors, the CVB, the Convention Center, Host Global, MPI Gulf South Chapter, Freeman, Manning Architects, and United Security. This has been a great first annual Meetings Being Business Day. Please play us out one more time for Deacon John and the Deacon Ivories.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your generous contributions to a very noble cause. And that's the future of New Orleans. Because the future of New Orleans resides only with the youth culture, the young people. These are the people who are going to be here when Deacon John is gone. These are the people like Wynton Marsalis. These are the people like John Baptiste. You see him on it tonight. Harry Connick Jr. All these people went to the Satchmo Summer Jazz Camp. I mean, we've got, I could tell names all day long, but this is a very worthwhile cause, and it's very dear to my heart because I am New Orleans, too. Anyway, we like to feature our vocalist, Lady T, on this next selection.
Thank you.